It's Crypto Sniper. How are you guys doing? Yep. So this is the daily on our friend XRP. So we made a big fuss about XRP, you may remember, and then everyone got angry with us because we didn't update for a long time while it was walking the desert. That was before this big surge, of course. So you could have been in at 67 odd cents around here. It went as low as 49, actually started to break, and then it had its big surge. That's on the macro that everybody is drawing now, but wouldn't draw for you before. I think we need Bitstamp to have the full history on that one. Let's go there and go stamp. There you go. That was the big guy. And as I say, everyone's done the draw now. And that was a macro squeezy Japanesey. Yes, sir. So that's volatility compression. That's your third high, third low, which we like. And that started its journey. So let's redraw that for you. And just show you the structure there so that everyone gets a bit of a feel. So there it is, boom, like that. That's the big draw. Let's get that box out the way with all its information and move it to the other side. Top left will do. And there we go. Yep. So you've got a second interim here waiting at about 4.55 on the macro. Again, we repeat, 19.35 is our upside call. By the way, notice how this sat on the legacy target of the setup even before then. That requires a monthly chart to show you from way down here. So this entire structure, all these years since 17 has been one long compression of months. Each candle is a month. Let's pull it through so it's not all bunched up like that. And essentially it's been also a support for this entire what a traditional technical analyst would call a triangle. Bear in mind we're in log scale here. It's quite low slung, and as a result we got this break and we are awaiting that second interim move. We paused in and around the 2 turn support after that localized high call at 3.4, but it looks like we might be going on XRP back to make potential new highs. So let's show you what we've got on the more day-to-day time frame, that is the daily here in terms of this. So overall we've got a 4.72 coming out of this target. Remember, that's part and parcel of making the step up to the next journey. You can see that $2 support. So previously you were sitting at 50p support, and you're trading mostly 60s. You got a little 49 flush out note here. You also got a little flush out right down to 1.61. It didn't stay there for very long, so it's rejected, and 2's broadly been your support. So that upside HVF is pointing at, on this time frame of analysis, 4.72. But there's also a hint that at around running the 3 levels again, 3.11, you may have a pause again for that interim level 2. So if you have a look at that on a lower time frame, I want to also show you this little bit of magic as well. There's a little structure here. You see how that fractal started? Now we highlighted on Bitcoin that you had a small little structure, and we've highlighted a few other places how you get these little fractals. And note the fake break, run your first interim, duck back into the funnel. And this is massive overperformance, which is predictable because you've got a fractal that is inside a far larger setup and structure, because we're now on a 4-hourly from the daily. So we've taken you literally from monthly, weekly, daily to the 4-hourly, and you can see this. Now if we have a look in here, this is why I say this is the method to end all methods, because it's a gift that keeps on giving, and this is what happens. Keep on keeping on, continuation trading. If we took the very first option, and I'm not entirely sure that's the most valid one, let's just have a look. Yep, cancel that, and where's the low? Not sure why it's not drawing it now. Come on, let's choose one somewhere else. Over there. Hold on a minute, that might be on this exchange a tiny bit lower, that's why it's doing it. The low is 2.66027. Yeah, it is. That low is like half a cent. On other exchanges it isn't. I was like, why are you not drawing that? So we've got to just put an imperfection in there. Pop that low, it's one fragment lower than the other. There we go. That's the draw we were hoping for. In fact, I was hoping to do it over here somewhere. No. That's very low slung. And we'll point to, I think that's a bit disproportionate. I think the way I had it before was maybe slightly better. You did get a dip through there, a technical dip through. But if we're having a look at this as a, that's pointing to, on a smaller time frame, this is where it's really interesting. So what did I say on the 4 hourly? I said at the 311, there's an interim level. And I'll also show you there's a flag at around the 3s as well. So we may have a pause once we've just run the 3. What you see here is right down to this 30-minute time frame. We have a structural target at the exact same 311. So once we get properly above the 3s, we might just pause and have a little bit of chop and pushback. That might be part and parcel because of our friend Bitcoin, by the way. We'll have to see how he's doing. Oh, but look at these draws. I love it when I open up and I've drawn an HVF and you see a chart like that with the green candle just disappearing off to the moon. And we've been lucky enough to actually on our hot pot to be long Bitcoin. Safe and liquid, and it's got, as we've said in our previous video, a target of 150 for me as part of its next leg up. So that's great. Let's see actually where it's gone. So it ran that 119, 120 and is now sitting, keep going, hooray, 122. So that is a great piece of overperformance as well. Trading continuation, friends. You know, a lot of you picked up clearly on the Chinese philosopher side, the Wu Wei. Don't get me trying to pronounce things correctly. I'm gonna struggle. But the art of, and it actually dovetails with the Chinese saying of great patience as well, which is, you know, just lie on the banks of the river long enough and all your enemies will come washing by. Sometimes you don't have to actively pursue undermining people when they are of a certain inclination. If they've caused a scrap with you, they will just come past. And in a sense, macroeconomically, just keep doing what you're doing. It's what I feel, unfortunately, when the West wants to go and intimidate and cause grief for China. The Chinese just have to be patient, and they're pretty good at just doing that. Anyway, that is the setup there, and that is your run. As I've said, with the 311 to be run with XRP, it's not a million miles away now. You're at about 290s. And I would imagine there might be a little bit of a pause. So there's been a good surge here on Bitcoin. And as a result, as I say, you might get your 311 run. Let's go and find that 4 hour for you one more time. And I'm going to take that one with its imperfection away on the smaller time frame, but it was just fun to do with you. And let's go and get that entire daily structure back up again, and you'll remember that 311 one more time. Let's grab him. So we're jumping across times. You see that 311 interim pause. But the good news is, whatever pullback you get post the 311 run, so you had a smaller pattern verifying and confluencing with that. I just showed it to you. And whatever you get after running 311, and that can mean it goes to 320 or 330 even, it could do, and you get a bit of a pullback. You might bounce on 3, come back. You might even dip a bit below 3 technically, or some other point, but then in due course the suggestion is there that there's a 4.72 run still to come. So the good news is good news. We are in the bull market. We are getting alts moving now, a lot of them doing very, very well. And I would say XRP remains one of the best. By the way, when you are in the super high fast running state, XLM will outperform. So the reason XRP is an all seasons favorite is it pulls back far less, has a lower beta, and has better liquidity. When you are in the specific niche phase of supersizing and percentage, it's obviously easier to push a smaller market cap higher. I actually have HBAR up here. I was thinking to discuss it with you, but maybe we'll save that for another video. I was going to suggest this might pull back to the 2270. We've got that W. But let's continue the discussion on XLM, which is Lumen. and put it on here. And just make that point clear with regards to percentage of move. So again, Lumen broke here, this grind line, on a declining. Was it a broadening structure? I'd say it could get away with being a flag, actually, without having too much of a broaden, and eventually it stopped visiting the lower side. It started to put in a little bit of a W-base bottom. We'd drawn on this previously. We cover this in the community. Dare I say, you're missing out on a lot of the detail on the community. We get rare moments just to pop on and give you a little bit of a heads up on how it looks. But on this as a daily, let's just clone that. I think I need to redo that target slightly. That's why. So we have just run a target recently for the W bottom on this. So there's a sign, and also see the shooting star. So it's really interesting. That one I did on a different time frame, and therefore it's incorrect. So correcting that. So the flag break, it happened. You got the move. It surged. If you're going to get a little bit of a progress decay period, or a few pullbacks before going higher, and by the way, if XRP is going to go to $4.76 after a rest and pullback, what it means to you if you want to trade XLM is that it could pull back for a bit after the running this target, progress decay stage, as we talk about, and it will probably pull back more than XRP. That's the other thing. You see, it's more volatile. When you're using leverage trader trades or trading on a more volatile instrument, you're more prone to lose. Stops can be run. If you don't have stops with leverage trading, you're going to get killed. You're going to get a account wiped out in the end. Placement of stops has to be careful. It needs to be in these low volatility periods. You have to be before the trade. So chasing post a surge is kind of tricky now if you're not an investor to get away. So leverage trading without a method and FOMOing in is absolutely dangerous to your wealth. And the possibility of a pullback, you see the shooting star target just made over there. So good move in terms of percentage. You know, from this you could probably argue that would be the last meaningful low that was relatively low vol. To the top of that flag, you've done 133.81%, which is superb from XLM. I don't feel XRP will match that. Let's just get the date. 1st of July we were measuring from, so that's an easy one to remember. That was the high. But it is already pulling, it's getting a shooting star and having a bit of a pullback. So it's about 112. If we scoot along back from the 1st of July, where were we on XRP? It's probably around here. No, June. There we go. 1st of July. If we measure that, it's unlikely to be 112 because it's a bigger market cap. There's the 1st of July low. Let's put the lock on and just measure that. So for those leaving comments, XLM, yes, it will. During this phase, it will be an outperformer. It's a much smaller market cap. So you've done 38% on XRP over the same time. You've done over 100 on XLM. So, I mean, that's a mooner shooter. The question is, how much do you keep? Because it can pull back 40 or 45%, and this one can come back 15. That's the thing to bear in mind. So it's not the fastest money you make and the greatest absolute money. It's how much of it in total you end up keeping. If you are doing leverage trading and you have a thinly traded, high volatility, you'll be shocked how many people get shaken out on stop losses. Or get account bust because they don't put in stop losses and the pullback turns out bigger than they thought, because it's all moon, we're all binary. It's like light on and light off. You get a surge, but then sometimes you can have a week and a half where it gets put on ice and it drifts back and it pulls back quite hard, and then you get another surge. So be careful. XLM will be the highest absolute performer during this phase. However, during bear markets or sudden turns or even continuation phases where there's pullbacks, it will also be higher volatility to the downside. So, but yeah, also looking very positive for XLM. Don't get me wrong. And I think its market cap will advance greatly, and hopefully also its liquidity will come with that. So we will watch and see. So on the smaller time frame, I would actually caution against the chase in here. So that's a daily. Let's do the 4 hour on it as well. Let's clean our face there. You could just be a little bit toppy and you could have a little bit of a dip back if Bitcoin, which has now run the 122, also has a dip back. It's at an all-time high. Basically, it's capturing a lot of people's attention. So there you go, a little bit. It's not chronic, it's not a death knell, it's not a slap in the face, a harsh one, but it could just gestate and come back, and it may set up an amazing continuation pattern, which could give you the invite to get in with a tight stop and a highly expansive reward, some of which we've given. Now, you won't miss trades like this in our community because we have a dedicated group of people that are trading in one specific way and very focused on the crypto markets as well as the gold, silver, and other markets. And you will find that in strong bull markets, this is anti-fiat season, guys. This is currency debasement. You know, that's how your stock market still, and I did it in the previous video, so I'm not going to over-egg it, is still at a nominal high, even though it's re-rating down. It's not going up like these things are. It's not going up like gold or silver or platinum, and it's definitely not going up now that the cryptos and the alts are being unleashed. So watch that, a possibility of a little pull. Don't leverage long on a low time frame around here, but we expect if XRP is going to do 4.76, which is quite a bit more from where it is here. It would need to break the 3 and then still break the 4 and get most of the way to the 5. You're going to have quite a run on XLM, and you could find that you could pick it up somewhere a bit lower, and you also don't have to sit through a drawdown during that period. So watch out for that. It could be very, very powerful. Let's see if there's anything else apart from the W bottom that we've got, which is already made, because my suspicion is you will have a flag if you've had that W bottom. So this turns into a very big flag instrument. And the benefit of knowing and being aware of that is you could probably put a flagpole here, there. I'm going to change the color a little bit to make it stand out a little bit. There's a lot of analysis on this chart. It's a messy chart. It's a working chart. I have some of the charts that I do that are show and tell ones and are pretty, and others that just have all the jaws and the sketches just rudely put there. So I mean that at a typical flag from the low, I would even say you could flag that from there or there, potentially the geometry, because this is a quietening period against here, and I didn't take it from the absolute low point there either. You know, you could be looking at $1 north of $1.50 at the moment, which is still a 3x plus from here. If it comes back from 47 cents to, you know, in the 45s, 42s, and you can pick it up somewhere there on a little bit of a calming period, you could be sitting very pretty for the next up leg on XLM. Okay, and that was the XLM, as I say, working chart. All the reversals that got taken out. See these patterns, they get made. You only think it's bullish. You think you're going to make a new high, and that was the end. Look how deep you came back, and you went past your neckline. So that's what you have to remember. Don't get too giddy. Don't get aggressive and decide I should have been 40x leverage or whatever the case may be. Be careful. It's a very volatile instrument, and it's not super liquid. You can get gapped if you're trading on different platforms. Sometimes, you know, depends on your trading size, of course, but just be careful out there. So there's a couple of bullishness for those that have been also highlighting. These are the ISO. Is it 2022? Don't know how you say the number actually correctly. These are the status tokens that are going to be a large part of what is coming. Okay, till next time, thanks for watching. Remember, you can be getting all these technical opportunities across the board of the major alts. As I say, we don't go too often outside of the top 25 unless there's something really pretty and with good liquidity. You can get all of those with us, the Crypto Sniper. Thanks for watching. Hit the like to support the channel if you enjoy these updates, and click the links below. Catch you next time. Bye.
Tired of profit wipeouts and blown accounts from following trade signal groups and other YouTube channels? Looking for a better way to trade, reduce your stress, and minimize your risk? Become a skilled technical analyst and see the charts and markets in a new light using the successfully proven HVF method by Francis Hunt, while being surrounded and supported by a principled, structured, and experienced community. Enjoy a constructive learning environment while practically trading markets, supported by a bespoke platform run through browser and app, specifically designed to teach and engage you whilst learning and growing as the markets move. This is not a Telegram or Slack signal group. All trade ideas are based on a proprietary technical analysis process honed over decades, which is the HVF method, leading to trade ideas with fast-moving breakouts and tight stops, exact entries and exits, nuanced interim considerations, and ultimately, strong rewards. Submissions are graded and scored by Francis for potential high-quality setups, and we provide bespoke tools to help get the job done properly and with precision. Over time and with focused effort, you'll begin to look at charts and price action just like Francis. Community updates every day by Francis and our 3 webinars a week provide a 360-degree approach, which are presented by our experienced team of trade leaders to spot potential trades. We're a community of self-actualized individuals, spanning the globe and active 24/7, 365. The premium community provides a warm, supportive, and cooperative place for people willing to listen, participate, contribute, and to learn. We've changed thousands of traders' lives. Transform your approach to trading now. Transform your life. Book an introductory call with us on the link below.